could have been the big story of the day, but it wasn't to be. The decision on fuel prices has been postponed yet again. No decision was taken at the Empowered Group of Ministers meeting today. Many members of the Empowered Group were not present. The EGOM will meet again soon. That's what the Finance Minister has said. Nayantara Rai, who's been tracking that meeting, joins us now with more details. Nayantara, Sushil Kumar Shinde, Kamal Nath, Sharad Pawar and Mamata Banerjee staying away from that Empowered Group of Ministers meeting, and now we understand that there is the possibility of another meeting taking place in the next 10 days.
That's right, Shireen. The other way to look at it is that 50% of the EGOM members were actually not present at that meeting. It's an 8-member EGOM, including Montek Singh Ahluwalia, and like you said, 4 of the ministers, and 2 of them being key UPA allies, actually not there at that meeting. And perhaps that's the main reason why there's going to be another meeting. I've asked my sources, highly placed sources in the oil ministry, that why is it that the EGOM met at all? Why not just have set another date, schedule another date for them? But what the sources have indicated is it was a good meeting. They were able to make a presentation, the Kirit Parikh report, bring all the members, all the bureaucrats, the senior officers from the ministries were present. So the Petroleum Ministry was able to make its case. Then the Finance Minister coming out and saying that on Thursday, perhaps all the EGOM members are going to be present because of the cabinet meeting, and it was only after that when a new date will be announced. But in the next 10 days is when we perhaps will see the EGOM meeting. What was the EGOM all about? Being set up for is to discuss the future fuel pricing for this country. We of course sell subsidized fuel. On the cards, what the Petroleum Ministry wants is, and what Kirit Parikh Committee report had recommended, is the deregulation of petrol and diesel and increasing of LPG and kerosene prices. Of course, all these decisions are governed more by politics as opposed to good economics. We're going to have to watch out and see what the government decides finally, but that's what the EGOM agenda was.
Thanks for that, Nayantara, for those details. Let's also listen to what the Finance Minister had to say on the reasons behind the no-show today.
I will call the meeting shortly. Therefore, exact date I will be able to finalize in consultation with the members concerned. Today, it was not possible that all of them could attend. So Thursday will be the cabinet day. Normally all the ministers remain present. I will talk to them, and after talking to them, I will call the meeting.
All right, that was the Finance Minister, and joining us now is Kirit Parikh, the author of the report on fuel price deregulation. He joins us on the line. Mr. Parikh, many thanks for joining us. Let me begin by asking you, are you looking at this with a silver lining, the fact that 4 members of the Empowered Group of Ministers were not there, and hence the decision has been deferred? So actually, perhaps there could have been consensus if the entire EGOM had met today. So are you seeing this as an optimist, or are you seeing this as a pessimist?
No, I'm saying it as an optimist. I think it will... I'm still losing hope, retaining hope, and I don't think one should conclude that this is just the end of the matter. I do believe that...
Was that a Freudian slip?
No.
Was that a Freudian slip? You said you're fast losing hope, Mr. Parikh.
No. It was not a Freudian slip. But then slips can be Freudian, but I don't think this was Freudian. Okay. I do believe
Mr. Parikh,
No, go ahead.
Let me ask you, sir, the fact that we now have the Finance Minister saying that perhaps at tomorrow's cabinet meeting they will decide on the next date for the Empowered Group of Ministers to meet. What do you think seems to be weighing on the minds of politicians at this point in time? Is it the inflationary impact? Is it the fact that we do have some states going to elections? What do you think is going to be the political considerations that are going to be weighing this decision?
No, I think if you want to deregulate the price of petrol and diesel, you have just 2 options at the moment. One is indeed to raise prices to make them comparable to that reflect the international prices. Other is to keep the consumer prices the same level and reduce the subsidy. Not subsidy, reduce the excise on petrol and diesel, which would really mean that, and there is that much play available in the excise at this stage. Of course, that will mean that there is a loss of about 20,000 crores in the excise revenue for the whole year, which I think, given the fact that we have got under this G3 auction bonanza of 35,000 crores, more than what the government was expecting, it's possible to bear that. So if you want to deregulate, these are the 2 options. One can say, okay, I'll wait for another 10 days or 15 days, let the price come down so that I can deregulate without raising the prices and without lowering the taxes. This, I think, is just hoping. And prices may go either way. I mean, we know that it has been very difficult to predict prices. We have done all kinds of studies and found that prices are not predictable.
Mr. Parekh, I want to pick up on a point that you just spoke about, and that is an interesting one, and that really is as far as the excise is concerned. You're saying at this point in time, on account of the revenues that the government has got on the 3G auction, they have a little more fiscal room. Do you think that would be the preferred route? Because then you're not really passing on the burden to the consumer. So in that sense, it doesn't become a political hot potato. Do you think the excise route is going to be the more preferred option at this point in time and the easier one to do politically as well?
This would seem to me so, because whatever you reduce in excise, you're giving it back as under recovery, or it's the same thing. So it's not an additional burden on the government. But indeed, of course, if you reduce excise, if you raise prices, you get more, and not reduce excise, then you have more income. You have larger fiscal space available.
Mr. Parekh, some of the experts that we have been speaking to also make a point about the fact that the method of calculating under-recoveries by most of these oil marketing companies are perhaps a bit exaggerated. Where would you stand on that front?
Yeah, I think, yes, they are a bit exaggerated, and these under-recoveries are really not necessarily the losses they make, but these are really some measure of an idea of to what extent the prices do not reflect the international prices. And if you leave it to them, obviously the market will determine and the prices will come down somewhat more than what we expect.
Just a point about the inflationary impact that Shireen was asking you about. Is this the right time? But given the fact that the government has also clearly articulated that managing inflation or tackling inflation is a major challenge, would you perhaps put this decision in abeyance could work well for the larger impact that it's going to have on the economy?
If you do it without, say, raising prices, then the inflationary impact point doesn't arise. Now, if you suppose you don't liberalize and you find that the international prices go up, in which case you're larger under recoveries and you have to finance it in any case. So this is the point we have been making in our committee report, that the current policies of financing under recoveries is as inflationary as raising prices would be. In fact, raising prices will be less inflationary because people will be use fuel more efficiently. Alternative modes of transport would be used. Goods will be moved by railways rather than trucks and so on. So the inflationary impact of that would be lower than just financing under recoveries through bonds and other things.
Mr. Parekh, a quick question, sir, because there are two views. One view that, we should move towards deregulation in one swift swoop, and the other one that we should do it gradually, step by step. At this point in time, given the political sensitivities, given the kind of burden that consumers will have to bear, which do you think is the preferred route and which one would you support? A partial deregulation, a step-by-step deregulation, or a one-shot towards deregulation?
I would prefer the one shot towards deregulation. Simply because, a step-by-step process, every step would be an agonizing discussions among the allies, and the same kind of political capital you will have to spend to get anything done. So it would become perhaps a never land.
All right, Mr. Parekh, hopefully it won't be a never land, and hopefully that Freudian slip will not hold true, sir. But many thanks for joining us on CNBC TV 18. Appreciate your time. Kirit Parekh there, the author of the Kirit Parekh Committee report on oil pricing deregulation. Remember, this was supposed to be the big ticket event that took place, the Empowered Group of Ministers meeting, but inconclusive, no decision either on deregulation or a fuel price hike, at least at this point in time. The Finance Minister saying perhaps the next meeting could take place in the next 10 days or so. Harsha.